Hello and welcome back. My name is Liliana Blackstar, and this is Hestia's Muse, podcast for astrological devotionals. I am so excited that you've come back. This is going to be episode 2, and we're going to have a little devotional practice to look at the meaning of the tarot card of the Four of Cups and the energy of the moon in Cancer. So I am here delivering you little devotionals for your spiritual practice, be you a witch, pagan, or Wiccan, or anyone who is just seeking spiritual growth and spiritual advice and likes to use astrology, tarot cards, and the Wheel of the Year for inspiration. And these devotionals are specifically for those who are looking to use astrology and tarot and such for self-development, self-healing, self-awareness, and personal growth. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Right now, I want to talk to y'all about the Four of Cups in the tarot. So in the tarot, we have different cards that are associated with astrological signs or astrological planets. And the Four of Cups is associated specifically with the moon in Cancer or with the final decan of the sign of Cancer. So a decan is a division of the sign. If you imagine that each sign is divided into thirds, there's a beginning, middle, and end to every sign. And those are the first decan, the second decan, and the third decan. And so in the tarot, we have different cards associated with each decan. Additionally, each decan has a planet that is considered the ruler of that decan. Every sign is ruled by a planet, and then each decan has an additional planet that sub-rules that sign. You can kind of see the ruler of the sign as in the boss or the CEO of that sign, and then the ruler of the decan as the shift manager, who is the manager of that particular section, while the ruler of the sign is still the ruler of the whole sign. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the third decan of Cancer, the last 10 degrees of Cancer, are also ruled by the moon. So this section of the zodiac is doubly ruled by the moon. You could say that this section of the zodiac is not only where the moon is at home in the sign of Cancer, but its favorite room in the whole house would be the third decan. So the third decan of Cancer that is ruled by the moon is represented in tarot by the Four of Cups. So if we look at a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith type version of the Four of Cups, we see a solitary person sitting outside under a tree. There are 3 cups in the grass in front of this person, and a 4th cup is being offered to the person, like handed out to them by a hand emerging from a cloud. But the person does not seem very excited. They're not reaching for any of the cups. They're kind of staring off into the distance. And you just get an overall sense of dissatisfaction or disinterest from the figure in the card. So the Four of Cups has many key words that we could associate with this card, and these are apathy, boredom, daydreaming, depression, detachment, disenchantment, dissatisfaction or disinterest, doubt, fantasizing, focusing on the negative, frustration, meditation, missed opportunities, moodiness, nostalgia, regret, refusing what is offered, stagnation, tiredness, weariness, and yearning. So those words kind of help set the tone for this card. We have all had times when we feel a sense of apathy or boredom with life, and we are just detached from a sense of excitement about living, or feeling disenchanted or dissatisfied, or just losing interest in things in life. So these moments in time are often accompanied by feelings of depression, regret, and doubt. We start to question our life. What's it all for? What does it mean? What is my purpose? Is there something more for me? The things that usually interest us or distract us aren't enough to hold our attention anymore. And the things that once brought us joy are now boring or filling us with dread. No one likes to be in this state of mind, but we've all been there, and we will be there again. It's just part of our human experience. When we're in this state of mind, it's really easy to focus on the negative. We're not seeing the good that's right in front of us because we're too busy focusing on what is bad. We're too busy thinking about the things that have gone wrong or the things that haven't gone well. We're thinking about what we don't have or what we have lost. We get wrapped up in nostalgia for the past, longing for the way that things used to be, and then not allowing ourselves to enjoy being in the present moment. Or we get so wrapped up in a wish or a dream for something that's yet to come. So wrapped up in dreaming about some future thing that's going to give us joy that we are not allowing ourselves to enjoy what we already have. And these Four of Cups moments that we have would be often felt by us during a period when we are deep in our feelings, but feeling a sense of dissatisfaction or not having the emotional fulfillment in our life that we crave. And that's why this card would be associated with the moon in Cancer. Because if we are not emotionally fulfilled, if we are not having moments of emotional joy, happiness, and security, then we're going to end up feeling like this person on the Four of Cups card, right? So if you have your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign in the third decan of Cancer, the Four of Cups will be an important card for you in this lifetime. This feeling might be something you struggle with frequently. If you have other planets in your birth chart in the third decan of Cancer, this card will also have special meaning in your life depending on the lessons of the planets in question. So we're specifically talking about if you have any planets in your birth chart that are between 20 degrees and 29 degrees of Cancer. So that very last 9 degrees of the sign. For those who do not have planets in your birth chart in this decan, you will still encounter the lessons and energies of this card periodically through your life. We all have times when the moon or the energy of the third decan of Cancer are speaking to us. Or you may have this card come up in a reading, and you just need to reflect on these lessons. So you can come back to this devotional anytime that you get the Four of Cups in a reading, anytime the moon is in Cancer. I know a lot of people that I know that work very closely with the moon go through this kind of emotional dissatisfaction period whenever the moon is in Cancer. or any time that the sun or any other planet is transiting through those last 10 degrees of the sign of Cancer, we might have some of these feelings come up. So right now, as I'm recording this, we do have both the moon and the sun together in this final decan of Cancer. So that's why we're focusing on this card right now at the time of the Cancer new moon of 2023. We have a new moon in Cancer happening tomorrow on July 17th. However, I don't want to put a limit on the time when this devotional can be useful or meaningful to you. It can be relevant at any time in your life. So what do we do when we have these Four of Cups moments? How can we respond to these Four of Cups moments? So the first thing that comes up when I see this card is that it is time to reconnect to the things that bring me joy. It is time to break out of whatever is making me feel disconnected, and I have to reconnect to the things that make me feel good again. So some of the ways that you can do this are you can develop a gratitude practice to refocus on the good that you have in life. Start every day with a gratitude list, or end every day with a gratitude list. When things are hard, it can be hard to feel like you have a lot to be grateful for. But if you set aside a time every day to write down or think about at least 5 things that you are grateful for, it can start bringing that joy back into your life. It helps you reconnect with the present moment instead of thinking about what you used to have that you don't have anymore, or what you want to have in the future. A gratitude practice makes you refocus on what you do have in the here and now. Another thing that you can do is you can take action steps to bring more joy and pleasure back into your life. What is missing from your life, or what has been forgotten? Have you been reading the books that you like to read? Have you been taking time to enjoy the hobbies that you like to do? Have you been spending time around people that you have fun and enjoy spending time with? So there's always little action steps that you can take to bring more joy and pleasure back into your life. So start thinking about, like, how can I just incorporate a little bit more joy into my life, even a little, just a little thing every day. It's a good time to ask yourself if you have been so busy with work and survival that you have forgotten to nourish your spirit. It happens to all of us. Sometimes this card relates to being burnout because we've been working so hard that we haven't had time for our spiritual and emotional nourishment. And this card is a good reminder to take care of yourself and nourish your spirit. Do the little things that bring you joy. Practice self-care. Have you been getting enough rest and self-care? If you are overworked, then you're going to end up feeling this way eventually, right? So you need to make sure you're getting enough rest and getting enough self-care, tending to your basic needs, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water. Self-care doesn't always have to mean pampering. Pampering is part of it, but it's not all of it. So reconnect with doing something that feels connected to your higher purpose. A lot of times when we're feeling this sense of dissatisfaction in life, it's possibly because we're not really working on our higher purpose at the time. We've just been focused on the mundane and focused on the day-to-day stuff, and we haven't been working on doing something that feels bigger than us and something that feels really important. So what are you doing that helps you feel connected to your higher purpose, or like you're doing something that will have a longer lasting effect beyond just you? Another thing you can do is make changes in your routine to help you break free from feelings of stagnation and energy blockages. You got to shake things up a little bit. And sometimes life can just get stagnant and we get energy blockages because we've just been doing the same thing and nothing new, nothing exciting. We just got to shake it up. So make a change in your routine, add something new, take something out of your daily routine, just shake it up a bit. Try to break free. And then another thing that's really important to do if you're feeling the energy of this card is to connect with other people, talk to someone, reach out to someone, avoid isolating. The figure on this card is sitting alone, and while being alone and having alone time is sometimes nourishing, sometimes it is just going to add to our feelings of depression, right? So as this card is connected to the energy of the moon in Cancer, I was thinking about, what does the moon have to do with the lessons of this card? And I came up with a lot of great examples of how the moon, the lessons of the moon, are very present in here, in this card. So this card is a good reminder that everything is constantly in flux, like the phases of the moon and the tides of the waters. There are periods of action and periods of rest. There are times of fullness and brightness, and there are times of light and darkness. And so think of your life in terms of phases, and this can help you learn to go with the flow. Everything is waxing or waning. There's periods of time of drawing more towards you, and there's periods of time of letting go. So learning to just accept things as they are and recognize that everything is part of a phase. Just like the moon has phases, you have phases, your moods have phases, your interests have phases. This card and the lessons of the moon are also reminding me that nothing is permanent. Change is part of life. Children grow older and become adults. Plants grow and bear fruit and then wither and die. And we have to be willing to let go of the past and not cling so tightly to how things used to be, because the nature of life is change. This is a big lesson for Cancer season, is about letting go and not clinging to the past, not becoming so attached to our nostalgia that we can't embrace change and enjoy the present. Another lesson of the moon, and especially a lesson of the moon in Cancer, is that nurturing yourself is of utmost importance. Care for yourself as you would care for a child. Everyone is deserving of a safe home, a comfortable place to sleep, access to nourishing food, clean water, and medicine. You must first care for your basic needs before you can be expected to go out into the world and do the really important work. So going back to the concept of like needing to reconnect with a sense of doing the work of your higher purpose, you have to start at home with nourishing and nurturing yourself before you expect yourself to be able to go out and do that really important work, whatever it is. You have to have had enough sleep and enough to eat and access to medicine and rest and water, right? So this is a reminder, just nurture yourself and care for yourself. Self-care will help you build emotional resilience. Pampering yourself is part of self-care, but it is not all there is to self-care. Self-care is about taking your meds, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, eating some fruits and vegetables, and getting some exercise. Self-care is taking time to tend to your physical, emotional, and spiritual needs, and these all help you build emotional resilience so that you can respond better if and when some crisis arises. So this card relates to a sense of weariness, a sense of just being so tired. The work and the world just seems like such a burden. And these are all feelings that we get when we are overworked and not having time to take care of ourselves. So self-care is a radical practice that helps build emotional resilience and physical resilience so that then you can show up in the world to fight for what's important. And that's a really powerful lesson of the moon in Cancer. So sometimes another lesson of the moon is that sometimes it is through periods of darkness that we learn our most powerful lessons. The new moon is a time when the nights are very dark. There is no moon reflecting light in the nighttime sky. Yet historically, the new moon is the best time for planting seeds and starting new things. So from the moon, we can learn to appreciate our own periods of moodiness. The times when a, quote, dark mood passes over you for a short time does not mean that you are failing. It is not natural to be happy and positive all the time. We all have ups and downs and passing moods. This is all just part of a cycle. And from this low mood, you will eventually emerge again with a renewed sense of purpose. Oftentimes having this low mood or this lack of interest in life is a message from your spirit that you need to slow down, you need to rest, you need to get back to the basics of taking care of yourself. And when you do that, you renew yourself, you refresh yourself, and then you can come back and emerge again ready to take on all of life, right? As a side note, I want to also bring up, if you have a prolonged period of depression and the things that we talked about here are not seeming to help you come out of it, then this can be a sign of a medical issue and you should talk to a medical professional. There is nothing wrong with getting help from a therapist, a counselor, a doctor, or even the use of prescription medications to help you overcome a persistent or severe depressive episode. So we are discussing, these moments of the Four of Cups, which are related to these low moods, these periods of apathy, boredom, and depression. And I gave some great things to think about for doing some self-care and taking care of yourself and reconnecting to your joy, reconnecting to your sense of higher purpose, reconnecting to the things that make you feel alive and passionate. If you're still having trouble, it's okay and even recommended that you talk to a medical professional. Or if you need someone to talk to and you're having a lot of issues with depression or low mood, you can always call a hotline, 800-273-855. 800-273-8255 is the suicide and crisis hotline. You can call and someone there will be willing to talk to you. Also, there is the crisis text line. You can text the word home, HOME, to 741-741. And that'll get you someone to text back to you about any type of emotional crisis or any other crisis you're having. So please take care of yourself however you need to take care of yourself. This Cancer moon is a very potent one, and the sun will continue to be in this third decan of Cancer until July 22nd. If you're listening to this recording during that time period, just know that the sun is moving through this section of the zodiac that's represented by the Four of Cups from July 12th through July 22nd of 2023. Again, this devotional is for any time, but it's particularly potent right now, and the reason that we're talking about this card right now is because both the sun and the moon are in this section of the zodiac. So anyways, thank you so much for listening. I look forward to bringing you more devotionals based on astrology and tarot cards and the Wheel of the Year, and being a source for you to have some kind of idea of what to focus on for your personal growth, your self-healing, and just making your life better as you live in tune with the planets and the moon. You can find me at www.hestiasmuse.net. You can also help support my work by joining my Patreon, and that is www.patreon.com/HestiasMuse. And find me Hestia's Muse on Facebook or Instagram, and I look forward to connecting to you anywhere online. All right, y'all have a great day and a blessed new moon.